Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to recap on the topic of charging for retainers after orthodontic treatment. I don't care if you're doing Invisalign, you're doing ClearCorrect, you're doing some of the brand of aligners, you're doing braces, you're doing phase one. I strongly suggest that you get your hands on a copy of my retainer menu, which really takes you through the pros and the cons of each different type of retainer. Now, this is meant for comprehensive or phase two treatment. The retainers for phase one treatment, if that's even needed, I've got that covered within my YouTube channel. If you go to my retainer playlist, which is on the homepage of the Straightsmile Solutions YouTube channel. Remember, everything on YouTube is free. Everything in my courses is also on my YouTube. So there's actually way more information in my YouTube than is in my courses. If you want to take my courses, I keep the price as low as possible, just so you can get the information and get the CE. That's all it's about, getting the CE. Also, the nice thing about the courses, we have a Straightwire course and a phase one course. I do not really have an aligner course because all the aligner companies get really mad if I do that. So my recommendation to do the aligners is to take the phase one and the Straightwire, which is the fundamentals of aligners anyways, that we understand the biomechanical concepts and how teeth move. From there, aligners are a breeze once you learn that. You don't even have to do the braces in the phase one, just understand it. And then aligners are a breeze. Then you can just click through the aligner playlists that are within my channel, be it either Invisalign, which is one animal, or other types of aligners, which is another animal, both on the homepage. And your money, it's easy. Okay, so should you charge for retainers? Absolutely not. I mean, this could get you sued. And if you're doing insurance, it might even be fraud. I mean, it's a massive gray area and it's just crappy. I think it's just mean and crappy. Absolutely not. The only time, no. How do you think direct-to-consumer aligner companies got themselves in so much in trouble? You don't do that. Retainers are an integral part of orthodontic treatment. So you can't like assess an additional fee. That's just mean and crappy. It's just wrong. I don't think there's any orthodontists who do this. There might be some MCOs or O triple, whatever you call them, orthodontic managed care. What are we calling them? OSOs. I was calling them OOOs that might do that, but it's wrong. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. So please don't tell me you do this. But here's what you can do, and here's what we do at our office. Every patient is going to get one set of whatever retainer is recommended for your case. Now, I might not know what type of retainer is recommended for your case until I've gone through it, seen how the teeth move, see how we started, see if there's any habits, see how your hygiene is. There's a lot of factors, see how your compliance has been. There's a lot of factors that go into me choosing the right type of retention for you. Now, vast majority of people are going to want a clear Essex or Vivera retainer. That's great. I didn't say I was giving you 4 sets. I said I was giving you 1 set. That's not my job to give you 4 sets. If you want to bundle Vivera into your Invisalign treatment, that's super, super nice. It is super unnecessary, but it's super nice. And that if you're marketing that, then that's great. That could be just part of the package. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, the price point's about $300 lab fee for 8 total retainers. I mean, the price is really affordable, and even less if you have a volume discount. So, I mean, I think that is nice, but unnecessary unless you're using it for a marketing thing. You can get just as good as a retainer from a variety of different labs. I'm happy to refer you to some labs that do it, probably about the same price or a little bit cheaper. But remember, if you're going to do clear retainers, you can't just give them one. Not for a lifetime. You have to have an aftercare plan. And this is where you guys screw up. You just give them a retainer and you're like, bye. No, they have to switch these out on a regular basis for a lifetime. So I like, in general, to give the parents a choice. And I start having this conversation months and months before we even get there. Probably we're going to have 2 options here. It's either going to be the clear retainers, you're going to get 1 set, but you're going to need to switch these out every 6 to 9 months, possibly more frequently, depending. I can't tell you how your wear is going to be, how your bite, how much you're going to wear it down. The distortion that occurs over time, taking it in and out, isn't always visible to the naked eye. That's why it has to be switched out. Now, this is assuming that you're having this professionally made. If you're making this in-house and you do not have the right equipment, if you're using substandard equipment like a vacuum former and not a BioStar Mini-Star, if you're not trimming it properly, if you're overheating it, it's not going to keep teeth straight. So if you are a consumer listening to this, I would ask, are you making this in-house or is this being outsourced? Specifically, if you ask for a Vivera, you know it's being made right, okay? If they are outsourcing it, I would ask what lab they're outsourcing it to, just, so you know. Now, if they're making it and delivering it in an hour, same day, well, then there's no way they're outsourcing it. Outsourcing it means they're going to take a scan a week or 2 before your delivery. If they're taking the braces off and doing it same moment, well, that's not accurate. And anyways, if they're leaving the braces on and then having some type of machine virtually remove the braces, that's also not accurate. It's okay to give a temporary retainer, and that's what I always did. And then once she gets a cleaning and everything gets healed up, then I will make a long-term retainer. So I might give two retainers. One will be temporary, one will be long-term. Now, if you decide to go with Holly, which for me is a little bit more expensive, but I'm going to let them choose. Nothing wrong with a Holly. A Holly is great. Keep in mind, Hollies do not they do not retain the vertical aspect of teeth. That means teeth might get a little wonky. One tooth might get a little longer than the other. Sorry, they don't retain that. Can always file the edges maybe, but I have a Holly. I just decided I didn't want Essex. I personally don't even know if I'll give Essex to my kids. I might give Vivera, but I don't know if I'll give Essex. I don't know about this whole BPA thing, and there's starting to be some new plastics, microplastics information's coming out. It just doesn't sit right with me long term for the rest of your life. I don't mind during active treatment, but that's just me, and maybe it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I'm not there yet. Not sure that I fully trust it. So I personally have Hollies. That's my choice. Guess what? My Holly has lasted 25 years, never needed to replace it. That is the most affordable. And yes, okay, one of my lower incisors is a little higher than the other. Who cares? I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But there's some parents that are going to freak out about that. So you have to go over the pros and the cons of each kind of retainer. If they pick upper and lower Holly, the kid's going to have to wear it to school. If they don't, the teeth are going to get crooked. If the teeth get crooked, you're not retreating for free. That means they're going to have to purchase an Invisalign Lite, or you can go with one of these white label companies that charges $18 per aligner to tweak them back again. And then they're going to have to get another set of retainers. So whatever they pick, they need to understand that they are now responsible for whatever relapse or deficiencies it has. If they choose the clear ones, they're going to have to come back on a routine basis and swap them out every year. You can set up a plan with what the cost would be. If you save the information in the cloud, it's really easy to reprint and refabricate another retainer every 6 months to 12 months for a lifetime. Of course, you're going to need a lot less once you start phasing it down to nights, and then every other night, then, one retainer will last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But in those initial stages, you're going to need at least 4 upper and lower retainers. That's why Viveras are only sold in sets of 4. Invisalign is not dumb. Align technology is not dumb. They know that you need at least 4 retainers to get you through it. So this is where you guys who are just doing this are making mistakes, because you're not coming up with a good aftercare program. So yes, after you give the one set of retainers, if they choose Essex and they realize they have to switch them out, besides that initial one set, yeah, of course they need to pay for it, but you need to come up with what the price is, how they're going to switch it out, make sure you're actually paying someplace to store that STL in the cloud. And then that's the nice thing about Align Technology is they're going to store it for you and you don't have to pay for it. And if they store it for, I don't know if it's 5 or 7 years, you can ask them. They don't store it indefinitely, because I had made one for one of my brothers like a long time ago and it's gone now. I can't reorder. He actually has to go in and get another scan, which he's kind of annoyed about because his retainers still fit. He just lost them. But after he went through 4 upper and lowers, actually I have a few brothers who did that. But anyways, no, do not charge for the initial set of retainers. Yes, charge for the supplemental retainers, but make sure you go over approximately what the price is. I'm not saying you have to put it in stone, because I don't want them coming back 30 years later and thinking it's still $50. I mean, obviously it probably should be office fees. And maybe in the first few years you can set the price, but this is really up to you and how you want to run your practice. But if you solve all the retainer issues ahead of time, so before they debond, they agree to the retainer terms, how it's going to work, what they're expected. If there's relapse or if they need new retainers, they're not going to get upset, because retainers are one of the number one complaints that you get. And I'm talking complaints to dental boards, complaints to insurance companies, and complaints on social media and reviews. If you do not have a good retainer aftercare policy, and there's third-party companies that you can partner with that will take a portion of your revenue, that will just manage it for you. And I think that's dumb. I think you should just do your own. It's not that hard to store an STL in the cloud. Plenty of places that will do it. I can refer you to plenty other services that will do it for you, and just spit out a new model and have it made. It's not that hard. Yeah, I mean, you're talking like $20, $25 for a retainer. It's not expensive, right? All right. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful. Thank you.